The feeling of playing on this court is no other. It just feels like you've got the entire crowd behind you.
It's terrific that the Melbourne Olympic Parks Trust have been generous enough to name this arena in our father's honour.
The name is a fitting tribute to the pioneer of Melbourne and Olympic Park.
This was a project that I thought mattered because we were talking about an individual whose name was going to be on this building.
We're proud to honour John Cain through John Cain Arena.
One of my strongest memories is looking across the net, the tennis court at home, and seeing my dad on the other side. In his later years, he wasn't so good overhead. The serve got a bit weaker and it was a bit easier for me to get it back over the net. As I grew older, it's a terrific vision in my mind of how much he enjoyed playing tennis and how much I enjoyed playing tennis with him. It's a strange experience when you walk into an arena here or elsewhere that's named after someone. It's normally named after someone that's made a contribution to that sport. So I guess someone coming to John Cain Arena would think, well, why have they named this place after a former long-serving state premier?
Without John Cain, there wouldn't be a Melbourne and Olympic Parks precinct. So he was the driver. He stood for this idea and he made sure that it happened. The people of Melbourne will be constantly reminded of that by seeing the name John Cain Arena.
I'm John Cain and I was Premier and Head of Government at the time when Melbourne Olympic Park was nurtured and evolved. Melbourne Park is special and highly valued because of what it brings to this place that nothing else can bring.
He was a modest, wise, polite, thoughtful man, always looking at the precinct in its role as a public asset and always looking at its prominence as a world-class asset for Victoria.
It wasn't just a sign, it wasn't just naming a building, it was actually recognising some significant contribution to the community, society and obviously into the economy. What does the John Cain Arena brand actually mean? So we've got John Cain, his stature, his gravitas, his heritage. Then we have the idea of the arena, its performance, its passion, its sense of community. Right? And then we sort of came up with this idea of being the heart, okay, the heart of things down here at the Melbourne Olympic Park. And so we had this, that created a story, and then we got back to the mark again. So we put all these things together. So that's how our thought process has worked. If he came back and was sitting in the stands or walking to the stand, I think he would be pleased that he had been honoured in such a way. And I think he would probably end up by saying he doesn't know really what the fuss is all about.
Here we have altogether major sport, entertainment, parkland and social gathering space. To have all of these blended into one precinct is highly unusual.
The key was where we located Melbourne Park, adjacent to the Melbourne Cricket Ground, within walking distance of the city. A piece of public parkland was the most difficult, politically, site to achieve. The opposition was ferocious. I can assure you, from all sorts of parts of this city and this state. We were able to secure the playing of the Australian Open as a Grand Slam tournament, along with New York, Wimbledon, and Roland Garros and Paris. That's big time.
It's difficult for me at least to try and name, an achievement or two because he's done so much. Building great facilities or achieving great social and economic reforms, politics isn't like that. It's actually really hard work. And it's a credit to him that he was able to achieve as much as he did.
At a family level, we know what he achieved, but there's his grandchildren and a growing number of great-grandchildren who don't know that story in the same way that we do. And the fact that this arena is named after him gives us an opportunity to be able to talk about those achievements, the ability to run over more than one generation.
The one thing I did want to say was the course he took to ensure that women were allowed to go to the MCG, whereas they couldn't. They couldn't go to the races and cross the white line. They couldn't go into the members at the MCG. They can now, and that was really because he pushed that.
This arena is special to me because I've played lots of my netball here and had some amazing experiences. The two that stand out are the premiership that we won with the Melbourne Vixens in 2009, and then also captaining the Australian Diamonds and playing at the Commonwealth Games here in 2006. They were the two big highlights for me. There's been so many people who have done a huge amount of work in the space of increasing the opportunities for females in sport, and John Cain was a real leader in that space.
It's important that Victoria honours John Cain not just because he was a renowned Premier of this state, but because he was the driving force behind the creation of the Melbourne Olympic Parks precinct.
We'd also like to express our appreciation to the Victorian Government for bestowing a terrific honour on our dad, on his memory, in naming the John Cain Arena.
I think the people of Victoria can look forward to Melbourne Olympic Parks having the ability to attract world-class events and therefore provide that access to the Victorian people.